Welcome to another Klein adventure. On this trip, we're going to travel down to the historic town of Murwillumbah, head up to the border ranges, then down to Kyogle, across the Richmond Ranges, down to Bonobo. Murwillumbah sits approximately 30 kilometres from the New South Wales-Queensland border, right on the Tweed River, and was first surveyed in 1872. By 1875, the growing and refining of sugar had begun in the area. Development was slow until the town got its first railway, which was an extension from Lismore in 1894. An important day in the history of the Tweed Valley and Murwillumbah was Christmas Eve 1894 at 11:25 a.m. when the first train to bring passengers into town steamed into the Murwillumbah station. It wasn't long before the development of refrigerated transport led to a rapid expansion of the dairy industry, with the building of Norco's cheese and butter factory in 1911. On the 15th of May 2004, the train stopped running into Murwillumbah. The first 24 kilometers of the Northern Rivers Rail Trail between Murwillumbah and Crabs Creek opened in 2023. The whole area, including Yukon, is famous for Mount Warning, an extinct volcano. Mount Warning towers skyward some 1,157 meters above sea level. The border ranges' spectacular, rugged mountain scenery and diverse wildlife and ecosystems have led the region being recognized as a Forest of East Australia Global Biodiversity Hotspot. Some things have changed in the area. Here's a picture of me back in 1996 with my first Land Cruiser. And that bridge doesn't exist anymore. The Gondwana Rainforest of Australia, World Heritage Area, was first inscribed on the World Heritage List in 1986. And extended in 1994. It is what is known as a Serial World Heritage Area and is comprised of several protected areas in northeast New South Wales and southeast Queensland. The Gondwana Rainforests of Australia include the most extensive areas of subtropical rainforest in the world, large areas of warm temperate rainforest, and nearly all of the Antarctic beach cool temperate rainforest. Few places on Earth contain so many plants and animals which remain relatively unchanged from their ancestors in the fossil records. The outstanding geological features displayed around shield volcanic craters and the high number of rare and threatened species are of international significance for science and conservation. You can spend a day or a week in this area exploring. We now come to our first picnic ground at the Bar Mountain picnic area, where you can do the Bar Mountain circuit. There's no camping in this particular picnic ground, but you can stay here. There's drop toilets and a nice grassy area with a fireplace, so you can bring your own firewood. It's only a short drive up this hill and you're there. We turn left here, back on the Rainforest Way, and head over to Black Buttes Lookout. Mount Warning is the first place in Australia that the sun hits each morning. You can drive right into Black Butte Lookout, and you've got drop toilets, and you can stay here and take in the views of Mount Warning. Approximately 7.2 kilometers down the road, you'll come to the Pinnacles Lookout. It's only a 200-meter walk to the lookout, where you get to enjoy walking through the rainforest. Above this great amphitheater, roughly 32 kilometers across and walled by high ranges on all sides except to the east, where they slope down to the sea, you are really standing in a great circular excavation of the inner parts of a dome, an area from which all rock mass has been eroded away, leaving the encircled ranges to present their stiff-like walls towards the center of Mount Warning. Mount Warning is the dominating geological feature of the Tweed Valley. The mountain is the remnant core of a shield volcano that was active 23 million years ago. The shield that was the volcano around Mount Warning once covered an area of around 100 kilometers by 80 kilometers. Time to walk the 200 meters back to the car. We now come to an intersection where you can only turn left. You can't turn right because it's only a one-way loop. It's only 5 kilometers down the Forest Tops camp area or 11 kilometers to Sheep Station Creek camp area. I didn't get a chance to go right here to Brindle Creek or Arctic Beach. We'll have to do that on another trip. National parks have a few rules that you have to do with the campsites. Bins are not provided in the campground, so please take your rubbish home with you. Do not dispose of rubbish in the composting toilets. Take care with fire. Only light fires and fireplaces provided. Do not dig trenches around your tent or campsite. Be considerate of other campers. Please observe the quiet time after 6 p.m. Generators are not permitted in this camping area at any time. We're now going to drive the 6 kilometers down to Sheep Station Creek camping area. Once you come out of the rainforest, you'll come out into this nice cleared area. It's only a 200-meter drive to the right, and you'll come down to Sheep Station Creek camp area. But before we'll do that, we'll take in this beautiful view. Popular Sheep Station Creek Campground in the Border Ranges National Park has camping decks and campsites for tents, caravans, motorhomes set amongst World Heritage listed rainforest. There's a number of walks you can take from this area, 4 actually. You can do the Palm Forest Walk, which is an easy 2 kilometers and should take 1 hour. The Brushbox Falls Lookout Walk, which is 2 kilometers and should take 1 hour. The Rosewood Loop, which is a moderate grade, 6 kilometers and should take 3 hours. Or the Buyong Walk, which is a moderate 9 kilometer walk and should take 5 hours. Time to leave the Border Ranges National Park and head to Kyogle, which is only 27 kilometers away. You'll reach this intersection in about 5 kilometers after passing through some farmland. If you turn right, it's going to take you up Sims Road, which will connect onto Lyons Road, the famous Lyons Road, and you'll eventually come out at Rathdowney. You're going to drive down this road 1 kilometre, and then you're going to come to a T intersection. You're going to turn right onto Lynch's Creek Road and head to Wyangri. Only about 1 kilometre down the road, you're going to come to the first school of Lynch's Creek that was built in 1905. It was paid and built by the local families and closed in 1914. The current little school here was built with funds from the government. It was always a one-teacher school, and the second school opened in 1915. Most rode horses to school, so there was a horse paddock to leave their horses in at the front here, where you now camp. The school closed in 1965, and now a small group of locals look after the school. Isn't that great? Now we head into Wyangri. Wyangri is a great little place to stop off. You've got a good toilet facility, a playground for the kids, and a little general store that's got a lot of old-style memorabilia. It's only a short 14-kilometre drive, and we're in Kyogle. The Kyogle area was first settled in 1840 to 1850 by a few farming families with large landholdings. By 1860, cedar cutters had moved in and were making their way through the district's large, rich rainforest. This lasted until 1890, when the cedar died out and hoop pine took over, with the area becoming an important supplier of plywood. Today, North Coast Plywood is New South Wales' largest provider of veneer timbers. We're going to turn left here at Anzac Drive and head the 64 kilometres to Bonalbo. At 23 kilometres, you hit this intersection. You're going to stay straight ahead to Dam Access Road and head straight to Tunar Dam. Construction began in 1969 and took 2 years to build, using largely local materials. Tunar Dam was established to conserve water, control flows, reduce flood risk, and provide a reliable water supply in the tributaries of the Richmond River. You can now drive down around the back of the dam wall and come down over this little causeway, where you can drive up and watch the overflow. Two kilometres down a dirt road, you're going to come to this T intersection where you're going to turn right up Oran Pot Creek Road. After a few kilometres, you're going to pass a few farms, and then you're going to head into the Richmond Range State Forest. You'll then come to another T intersection where you're going to turn right, and it's only 24 kilometres to Bonobo, where you're going to follow Peacock Creek Road. It's a pretty good gravel all-weather road, even for two-wheel drive, until you get to Peacock Creek Rest Area, which looks like a great camping spot. This section of road, or the next 21 kilometres into Bonobo, is four-wheel drive only. I know there's potential water crossings if it's been raining heavily. Definitely some rutted out areas. It's only for a few kilometres, then you come out into the farm area, which is gravel road again, before you come out into the Clarence Way and make your way into Bonobo on the bitumen. We finally make it into Bonobo, and we're staying at the Dog and Bull Hotel for 2 nights. The hotel was established in 1909 and burnt down in July 1985. The hotel was then rebuilt and reopened on the 19th of August 2005. Our good friends Carl and Marcy bought the pub, and we've come down to stay and pay them a visit and tour around the local area. I found these hobos at the back looking homeless. In 2019, Bonobo received a new multi-purpose residential aged care and emergency department. I love these old towns. There's no traffic lights, and no crowds. This is the RSL Memorial Rose Park in the center of town. This bronze dog statue marks Bonobo as the birthplace of the working cattle dog trials. Since its construction in 1910, Bonobo Hall has burnt down 3 times. It was the center of town where people came together to dance, meet, and host such events as the Bull Ball and the Queen of Bonobo. Bonobo has a rich history and was once a booming gold town that saw thousands of people searching for gold. Many of these towns have long since disappeared into the bush, and although Bonobo has a small population of 500, it still boasts most services, including a hospital. The town is famous for its bulls and is where working dogs first competed. What is special about Bonobo is that its community communicates by landline or by dropping by your house. Most don't have mobiles or computers, as there is little or no mobile reception here. What is evident is these communities west of the range are doing it tough, but yet have the strongest of community feel. This community is full of character, which means the town has many stories to tell. A 1 hour drive west of Bonobo, we're going to head to Paddy's Flat camping area and visit the Tank Traps. After traveling 49.5 kilometers on Hooton's Road, we get to Paddy's Flat Road, where we're going to turn right and head to Urbanville. It's only 30 kilometers till we get there. These concrete structures are tank traps and were built as part of Australia's defence during World War II. Japanese air and sea attacks made Australia fearful of invasion. Roads were critical for moving population, stock and supplies, and needed to be protected. The inland roads and rivers were particularly vulnerable in terms of invasion, as the alternative coastal routes from the north would have required enemy forces to cross several large rivers. In response, the government quickly planned defense measures. Obstacles were strategically placed on roads, river crossings, and the coastal beaches. On hitting the obstacles, a tank would be forced to rise up and the underbelly could be attacked by machine gun fire. We leave Paddy's Flat camping area and cross the Clarence River. The Clarence River is 394 kilometers long and empties into the Coral Sea in the South Pacific Ocean, between the towns of Iluka and Yamba. The 195-kilometer Clarence Canoe and Kayak Trail is the longest mapped whitewater trail in Australia. You're allowed to camp in this area along the Clarence River. Less than an hour away at 46.3 kilometers, we're going to go down to the Lunitic Hotel in Drake. From the Tank Traps, it's 7.5 kilometers and you get to this Lanikai campground. We arrive into Drake. Between 1872 and 1890, Drake was a thriving mining and timber town with 14 hotels, a town band, and many private dwellings. Finally make it to the Lunitic Hotel, where I find those homeless people from Bonobo right at home. After a few cold beers and a light lunch, it's time to leave and head down to the Rocky River Road. Heading back 1.3 kilometers, I'm going to turn right and go down Long Gully Road. Traveling 3.7 kilometers down Long Gully Road, I come to the Drake Community Store. If you're passing this area, make sure you drop in here. This is a great little shop he's set up. He's got everything from honey, gold panning equipment, groceries, from cold milk. He's got hot pies, frozen meat, even fresh eggs. He seems to be very well stocked with everything for your camping needs. It's time to keep going. We run down through the valley, through the rainforest that drops 1,000 meters in a few kilometers. It's quite steep. There's nothing too difficult about this road. A proper four-wheel drive, even two-wheel drive can do this road. But if you've got a four-wheel drive, why not, for added safety, put it in a four-wheel drive high. This will give you some added traction on these granite-based roads. There's no toilets here or no bins. Nighttime brings out owls, little squeaky bats. Frogs start croaking, and if you sit long enough and scan the grounds with a torch, you may even see a possum. The Timbarra River rises on the slopes of the Gibraltar Range, east of Bold Knob, and flows generally northeast, joined by four minor tributaries before reaching its confluence with the Clarence River, southwest of Tabulum. We now enter Rocky River Station, and this is where the Rocky River Road starts. I can just imagine years ago when the old Cobb & Co. coaches used to come down these roads. They would rise and fall, then twist its way around the old terrain. This was to keep the stagecoach fairly level and flat for those on board. I didn't go down this lower rocky road, but I've heard that there's some good camping down there on the river, and it comes to a dead end. There's no through road. The scenery at this time of the day is just magical. Look at those colors. It's said that Rocky River Station has 24 kilometers on the Timbarra River. That's a pretty good water source to have when you're a farmer. You just want to keep an eye out for oncoming vehicles. It's looking to the right and then looking to the left at the river. When you come to this blue barrel, this is where you turn in, just in here, and that blue barrel, and this will take you over to the campground right on the Timbarra River. You'll see it here as you look down on the left. There's a caravan and someone camping there right now, just down there. There appears to be so many fantastic camping grounds in this area, but not sure if you can just camp where you like. A lot of this is owned farmland, so you should check before you actually set up camp. It's taken an hour to get down here to the big rock formation. And then I turn around and I go back. I didn't have time to finish the whole road. We'll do that next time. Everyone who does the Rocky River Road always stops and takes a photo of these rocks. It's pretty specky where you've got to drive in and around them. I hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as I did making it and exploring this area and being able to, the privilege of taking these photos and going to this beautiful area. We then make our way to Tabulum, and the next day I make our way back, and there's Mount Lindsay. Well, thanks for watching another Klein adventure. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you on the next one.